Hello everybody, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Vanderpump Rules. That's season 10 episode 3. But before we get right into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so that you won't miss any other further videos. But let's get started. This episode was a little bit longer than usual. It was an hour and 15 minutes, so there's a lot to talk about. So first up in the episode are James and his new girlfriend Allie. I will say they look really happy together, and then there's like brief footage of the others. Lisa Vanderpump goes to the Sir and talks to Peter, who's the manager there. And remember the night before, Peter was dumped by Raquel, and you can tell that it bothered him a little bit, so LVP kind of like teases him a little bit for it. And while she's at the restaurant, she runs into Raquel. Turns out she was a little bit late because her dog has a problem and she had to take care of it. Lisa tells Raquel that, she's a little disappointed that she went for Peter, like she expected her to know better, and that it kind of seems like ever since the engagement ended, Raquel has been like all over the place. And it poses the question, do you still love James? Says Lisa, and in tears she admits that she does, which I think we all knew. That wasn't a surprise. I think it's like pretty fresh off, so I'm not surprised that she admitted that she still loves him. Next up, we see Ariana and Katie, who have planned to open up a sandwich shop. They understand that they need to take everything with a grain of salt, so they're looking at this new location. It's not easy to open up a place like this, but I do feel like they are much more prepared than Schwartz and Sandoval were when they opened their places up. And I also think that it helps that they've seen their men go through the process already, so they're not like super oblivious to what the process is. And they talk a little bit, and Katie shares the tearful conversation that she had with Tom last night during the party about the restaurant. So the next scene is Tom, and Sheena pops into his place, which, by the way, he needs to clean up his place because it is a total mess. But they begin to do the podcast because he had promised Sheena that he would do it. She's asking some pretty tough questions about his personal life, especially about the divorce. And then they begin talking about Raquel. Sheena says that she's heard rumors that they kissed, being Tom and Raquel. And she wants to know if it's true. And she says, but you know what? If it is or isn't, why not make it true? So Tom is like blushing and says, well, I don't know. He doesn't really give a firm answer. And Sheena is, like I said, encouraging him to go for it if he thinks that he should. Next up, James is with his girlfriend again at the Sir, and Lisa bumps into them again. She tells James she is sorry about what happened with their dog, which is news to James. Remember that Raquel told her earlier? So Raquel wanted to make boundaries with her and James, which is why she didn't tell him. So it was an accident that, slipped out of Lisa's part. She really didn't know. So at that time, Raquel she's still working on her shift. So James calls her over and questions what happened with the dog Graham. Raquel's a little upset at Lisa because she didn't want her to say, but then again, she never told her not to. So James takes her outside and Raquel explains what happened, and he kind of cries over it and asks if he can see the dog because it means a lot to him, and she says she'll think about it, and that makes him a little bit mad, to be honest. Next scene is both Tom's having a business meeting. They talk a little bit about the opening, the hiring, and all that process. And then a couple walks in and asks if they are open, and they say no. But it's super cool because they actually give them a tour, which I thought that was pretty nice. So it's later at night, and Lala, Katie, and Raquel are hanging out. They're having a good time catching up. And Katie brings up that she has been hearing that Sheena lately has been making Raquel and Schwartz have these ideas that perhaps they should be together, and it's really bothering her. And Raquel is just sitting there very quietly. She's not really saying anything, and when asked what she thinks about it, she actually has the nerve to say that she likes Schwartz, and that strikes a nerve with Lala, who thinks that would be crossing a big line. And she says that it would be so messed up, that she has done things that are messy but not to that degree. But the irony of it is out of this world, because as they continue to talk, a few minutes later, Lala needs to get something off her chest and admits to Raquel that she indeed hooked up with James while he was with her. She feels like she had to tell her to, be truthful. And this certainly takes Raquel aback, and she's speechless for a moment because that's horrible. Even if they are broken up already and they're not together, that's still pretty messed up. And Lala, I don't know how y'all feel about her, but that was a total mess, and it was really hypocritical for her to, again, being so against Raquel and Schwartz possibly having something while she, cheated on her then partner Randall with James, who was with Raquel. The guys have a brief scene where they're with a band because they are going to be doing a show later in the episode. And then Sheena and Raquel are hanging out, having a chat, walking. And Raquel mentions about James wanting to see the dog, but she wants it to be a one-time thing. So they continue to talk. Sheena brings up Schwartz, and Raquel fills Sheena in on what happened in that little dinner that she had with Katie and Lala. And she says that honestly, Katie is mad that Sheena has been wanting to maybe hook up Tom and Raquel together. And the first thing that Sheena thinks is how does Katie even know? She's really confused. And Raquel, in addition, tells her what Lala admitted about James. And she tells Sheena that she can't believe Lala just expected her to be okay with it and swipe it under the rug. That's crazy. Then on a different day, Lala and Katie are meeting up again, and they are doing to do a speed dating thing with these two guys that they've met. I gotta say, it was a little bit awkward. I mean, all first dates are a little awkward, but this was very weird. They go to the bathroom and they even address how awkward it is, and it was just a mess. I'm just gonna skip over that. Raquel and James later meet at the park, and they spend some time with their dog Graham. And Raquel, she really has something to get off her chest, so she asks him, is it true that you and Lala hooked up while we were together and she was with Randall? He admits it and tries to blame it on the alcohol and says that she wouldn't leave the room. It's not something to say. I don't care what Lala or him have to say. They can't blame it on the alcohol. They can't blame it on absolutely anything because that was just wrong. But he digresses the conversation and then starts saying, oh, well, you dated Peter. Does that mean you were crushing on him all the time that you were working at Sir? But she says that it all makes sense. Their relationship was built around lies. And now she understands why she always felt a weird vibe with James and Lala. She always felt like she had to be jealous in a way. But now everybody is getting ready for this party that the guys are going to do with their band. We see Katie in particular getting ready, and as she's getting ready, she's listening to the podcast that Sheena recorded with Schwartz, and she's so mad that she calls Lala, who then starts bashing Sheena as well, and they say that she's evil, that she is a bad friend, and Katie goes as far as to say that karma is going to catch up to her and that she can't wait to see that. At Tom Schwartz's place, Sheena is there with her boyfriend, and then Raquel arrives. They're all going to be going together to the event. Schwartz mentions that Katie is livid about the podcast, and Sheena then drops a bomb saying, why would Katie care? Katie told me that she didn't care if Tom hooked up with Raquel or anybody because she is hooking up with people, so he can too. And this definitely surprised Tom. When she said she's hooking up with people as well, it took him by surprise. But everybody is now arriving to the party. Katie is coming in on fight mode with Sheena, and everybody else is arriving, and as they're greeting each other, it's a little bit awkward with Katie especially. Then Sheena goes and says hi, but Katie totally ignores her. And Ariana tells Raquel and Sheena to the side and says, it looks really messy that you all came together, the four of y'all. It really looks like a double date. And then Sheena says, you know what, let me go address Katie directly. And Katie says, Sheena, I know exactly what your plan and agenda are. So Sheena claps back and says, you told me at Las Vegas that you didn't care who Tom dated. So Katie goes from 0 to 100 and says that Sheena is meddling in the relationship, that she's a nasty troll who needs to be stopped. So basically what Katie is mad at now is the podcast, Scheana egging Tom to date Raquel, and for her exposing what she said at Vegas. So Katie walks away, and then the first person she sees is James, and he tells her everything that happened, and he totally relates to Katie's anger because Scheana also had Raquel on the podcast when they broke up just a little bit after. So one could say that Scheana is not a good friend for using these situations, or she knows how to catch a bag. You all let me know what y'all think. But anyway, Katie tells Tom that she hates that bitch, speaking of Scheana, and that she is tearing them apart even more. He doesn't really know what to say, and James and Raquel then have a brief interaction, and he gets mad at what they were talking about, and since his blood is already pumping, he directs his anger at Scheana all of a sudden, which she's confused why it's coming at her, and he even calls her a pumpkin pie because it's like sweet on the outside and not so much on the inside or something like that. But that's the end of the episode, you guys. Katie totally told Scheana what she thought, and I think Scheana did a pretty good job on defending herself though. But I will say, usually when there's fights like this, most people are like on one side, but what I've been seeing is that people are pretty divided. Some say, you know what, Scheana could say what she wants, Katie told her, so why is she mad? But other people are saying that Scheana is not a friend, that she doesn't treat people, she's not loyal. So I want to know what y'all think. So let me know in the comments what you think about Katie and Scheana getting into it, and what did you think about this overall episode, especially Lala admitting to Raquel that she and James hooked up. Like I said, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.